You're watching the News Channel 2 High School Football Preview Show. Brought to you by Scalzo, Zogby and Wittig and Raymore and Flanagan.
Welcome to the 2018 High School Football Preview Show. It's that time of year that everyone has been waiting for, and it's hard to believe, but it's football season again in Central New York.
Yeah, time certainly flies when you're having fun. Seems like just yesterday we were doing all of this last year, but here we are again and excited to get things going as we kick off another season on the gridiron.
Yeah, we will be on the air here for the next hour breaking down what you need to know about the 2018 season. So with that, let's take a quick look through what you can expect to see here during this year's High School Football Preview Show.
In just a minute, we will introduce you to the new coaches who are making their debuts this year, with many changes taking place on the sidelines. After that, we will run through the changes in league structure as many teams went through reclassifications this offseason, so we'll see many familiar faces in different places this year.
We'll take a quick break and come back to the meat of our show, the team previews, where we go through each class, each league from AA to 8-man football, where we will highlight every team in our area with interviews from players and coaches.
Once we're done getting you all caught up, we'll then conclude tonight's show by previewing our season premiere of Sports Express taking place tomorrow night with kickoffs just 24 hours away.
So with that, let's shift the focus now to this year coming up, and there's some new faces in the mix for 2018.
Yeah, 4 teams are under new leadership this season as new head coaches take over. So let's introduce you to the new bosses we will see roaming the sidelines.
We'll start out with Notre Dame and Gennaro Scampone. Being named the head coach at Notre Dame this offseason was a dream come true. Scampone played linebacker and fullback at Proctor, was a 3-year starter for UC, and had been on the Pioneers coaching staff for the past 3 years. He replaces Jake Durcola.
As a high school player, I had dreams of, maybe one day I'll be a head coach for a high school team. The stars aligned for me that it ended up being Notre Dame. When I saw the job come open, it kind of just fell into line for me. It's a great experience, and right now I'm knee deep in camp, so I haven't taken a step back to truly appreciate it, but I'm loving it so far.
Speaking of Coach Durcola, he sees himself down Route 49 with the RFA Black Knights. He takes over for Ted Swavely. After 4 years with the Jugglers, Durcola is ready for the next chapter and to bring a storied program back to the top.
It's very exciting. It's a new step, new program, bigger school. Different players and everything. I'm very excited with it. So no matter someone new coming to a program, the hardest thing is for players to do is to learn the new philosophy, the new style of play and everything. But the good part is we've had a good summer with a lot of team camps, and a lot of guys have been there, so they're starting to figure out my philosophy, figure out our style of play and everything, and I think they're really enjoying it.
Out in Waterville, Mike Batson takes the reins from Josh Pearsall, formerly the head coach of the Indians modified team for the last 4 years. Batson is looking to create a uniform system throughout the entire program, and he says, so far, so good.
It's been pretty smooth transition so far. Knowing all the kids from the last 4 years of coaching them, 9th through 12th grade, because I had them all on the modified level, so that helps a lot. It's a big incentive, the kids knowing me already.
Finally, at Morrisville Eaton, Don Johnson is putting the headset on after Gary Morris exited following last season. Johnson is no stranger to this Warriors squad. He served as an assistant for the better part of a decade.
Really excited because I've been here. This is my 7th season here at Morrisville. The kids all know who I am. Coach Brown and myself and other Coach Johnson moved up from modified, so he has a good rapport with the kids. We're young. We're very young, but we're excited, for the season to start. And I think good things will come.
So now you know the coaches, but the sidelines aren't the only place that we'll be seeing changes.
Yeah, every class will now have just 2 leagues or divisions in them, as opposed to some having 3 or even 4, as that's been the case in the past. And we also have 4 teams moving into different classes this coming season.
That's right. Notre Dame seeing a lot of changes this past year. Not only a new coach, but a new class as well. The Jugglers have moved back down to Class C from Class B, where they spent the last 2 seasons. Another change sees Mount Markham move up a class and join Notre Dame in Class C from Class D, where they have been since the 2015 season.
Due to smaller numbers this year, 2 more local schools have moved to the 8-man football league this year, including Morrisville Eaton and West Canada Valley. That brings the total up to 5 local schools now playing 8-man football after Cooperstown, New York Mills, and Oriskany made the change last year.
Well, our first quarter is in the books here on the 2018 High School Football Preview Show. With some of the formalities now out of the way, it's time to get right down to it.
Definitely. After the break, we'll begin our team previews for over 20 local teams in the area. We'll check out Class AA and Class A next.
Welcome back to the 2018 High School Football Preview Show. It's time to get right into the thick of our show as we showcase each of our individual local teams.
Yeah, we're going to go from bigger school to smaller school classes. So with that, let's get started in Class AA with Proctor.
The Raiders had a decent year last year. The 4-5 final record may not reflect it, but Proctor finished 3rd in their division in the Class AA. They made it to the playoffs, where they fell in the first round of sectionals. This year, they return about 19 players from last year's roster, including many on the line and a few skill positions. They lost a lot of key players, including 3-year starting quarterback Logan Wilcox, but they have a plethora of talent coming up to replace those gaps. The Proctor JV team went undefeated at 7-0 last season, with many of those student athletes now cracking the varsity roster. What the team may lack in experience in some areas of the game, they may more than make up for it with the new blood coming up.
JVs were undefeated last year, so and they were mostly 9th graders. So we're 10th grade, we're 10th and 11th grade heavy. So I think we're going to be a little bit young, but the kids are, the young kids are good players. The JVs really played well last season. I think we're going to play defense pretty well. I think we're going to be good up front on the offensive line. I think most years we have good skill kids. I think we need to open some space for the skill kids on offense and close space on defense. Just like everybody else. But I mean, we could run. Now everybody knows we have fast guys, but in the past some of our we haven't been that great up front. It hurts, but I think we're going to be good up front this year. So we'll see.
Staying in Class AA2, the RFA Black Knights are looking to bounce back after a tough go last year. RFA finished the season 1-8 overall and 1-6 in league play, which put them in last place in the standings. But there's a new leader at the helm. After 4 years coaching at Notre Dame, Jake Durcola has taken over a storied RFA program that has fallen off in recent years. Durcola replaces Ted Swavely, a former RFA lineman who resigned as the Black Knights head coach in November after 9 seasons. With a new coach, the squad has learned a lot from last year and can already see the difference.
They struggled the last couple of years. The way I'm approaching it is a fresh new start, bringing in different offensive philosophy and a little bit different defensive philosophy. Using a lot of these guys spreading the ball around, because we have a lot of talented athletes out here that I think could do a lot of good things for us, especially if they keep working hard and they want it.
Our offense is looking really good. Our run game, we have a nice 4 running backs who are really actually good. And our wide receivers we're solid. And we actually have new quarterbacks this year, so it's just when the new plays and everything coming in, we just got to wrap it up.
It makes you really want to kill for your brothers. You want to go out there and win for each other. You don't want to see your quarterback get sacked. You don't want to see your tight end miss his ball or not catch it, whatever. It's none of that. You just want to see each other win. That's what the chemistry is.
Over in Class A, the Whitesboro Warriors, the 2-time reigning Section 3 Class A champions, they have dominated the game over the last couple of years, making it all the way to the state semifinals for the 2nd year in a row, where they fell to the West Seneca Indians. It's no secret that Whitesboro had a stacked team the last couple of years, and despite going 5-3 during the regular season, used their experience in the postseason to make another incredible run. This year, the Warriors lose a lot of key starters that helped them get to that point, including guys like Mike Cirasolo and Dante Folletti, among many others. However, those deep postseasons have created an entirely new group of seasoned veterans who are now going to be in those starting roles. Whitesboro looks to be deep again this year. Their classic ground and pound style should be out in full force with a running game by committee. They also could air it out with 3 strong quarterbacks in the mix.
I think Joey Panuccio brings experience. He brings a firecracker mentality. He's got a great motor. He's going all the time, and he knows the system, and he does a nice job of leadership. Zach Britt's a great athlete, rather. He's a little bigger and brings a 2 or 3 sport attitude to the game that we really enjoy. The third quarterback was the starting quarterback for the JVs last year, and Nick Sardina, and he's also battling. He's keeping everybody moving, that's for sure. We probably have 8 running backs who could play in a game. We have some speed with a couple of kids who did a great job in track and did a great job for us last year. We've got a couple kids back from injuries last year that didn't get a chance to play. And so right now it would be tough to throw names out because we think we could probably use 7 or 8 backs in the first game.
3 teams down, plenty more to go as we are still just getting started here on the 2018 High School Football Preview Show.
Coming up, we go through a couple of leagues with multiple local teams set to compete with each other for playoff spots. We look at Class B and Class C next.
Welcome back to the 2018 High School Football Preview Show. 2 classes down, 4 to go.
Yeah, let's dive into Class B now, where we have a bunch of local teams competing. We begin with Camden. The Blue Devils had another rocky year last year, finishing at 3-6 overall and missing the playoffs yet again after grabbing 3rd in their division. It's been a rough few years for the once dominating Camden program, and this year the team is refocused and committed to building the program back up. The coaches and players spent a lot of time this summer at camps, clinics, and summer tournaments, which is something that has helped them come out a step ahead. The Blue Devils agree that speed will be their main strength heading into this season.
You know, our pass routes and things are more crisp. Our quarterback's getting better, who's also a senior. He's a great player for us. You know, and it's definitely, things are a lot smoother than they have been coming into camp. We are executing things a lot better. We still have a long ways to go. You know, not allowing this group to get complacent is going to be a big part of my job this season because they have worked tremendously hard to get to where they are, but I don't want them to be satisfied with where they're at. And but definitely things have been a lot smoother on the offensive side. Our defense has got a lot of work to do. If we can stop people, we're going to be very tough to beat.
We're just a lot smoother. Everybody knows what they're doing. We're just a step ahead of the game right now, ready to play. We're playing free now. We're not thinking about what we got to do. We're playing now. We got speed. We got speed a lot, and this year, more than before, we have committed linemen too. We've never really had a committed set of linemen this way. They've been working all summer just as hard as we have, so that's going to help us a lot this year too.
I think that just our passing game and the athletes that we have in the skills position is great, and our line's going to give our quarterback a lot of time to make some throws.
In Ilion, it's a new year with brand new turf and a new Central Valley Academy team. CVA finished last year at the bottom of the Class B East with a 1-7 overall record and didn't win a single league contest. While the Thunder lost a lot of their size, including tight end Noah Lynch and defensive end Jake Slaughter, who was a big factor on both sides of the ball, they do return many key players, such as Riley Brewer at the quarterback position and Hayden Shaver behind him at running back. With a solid QB and an array of athletic wide receivers, the Thunder are trying out a new offense this year. With the new scheme and the personnel that the coaching staff is confident can pull it off, head coach John Cole says that if the players execute, it could help them take the next step.
I'm basically looking for our athletes to be athletes. I think we got a very strong quarterback in Riley Brewer. I think we got a great running back in Hayden Schaefer and Brandon Goki. We got some great receivers coming up. We've got Brandon Murray, who's off the JV team. We got Lucas Hartman, who switched from running back to receiver. We've got what we believe is a good nucleus of athletes. And if they can be athletic, we could be in good shape. We're actually throwing the ball a lot more this year. Because we have size issue and line numbers, We're going to try and spread out the game instead of play the tight box double wing we played. We'll still have it in, but we're also going to try and put our athletes in space. So thank God the kids have done a great job in the offseason. We went to Utica College camp, went to New Hartford camp. They put the time in. So now we're just trying to fine-tune things.
So definitely a learning process because there's a lot of concepts to each play, a lot of different things I can do. It's just a new learning experience for me. Definitely our wide receiving core and our running back core. They can catch footballs, they're fast, physical receivers, running backs. I can trust them.
Everyone just loves this new offense. We're learning it every day, just week by week. That's our mentality this year. Strengths, like Riley said, offensive line, wide receivers. I mean, Riley at himself, he's a huge quarterback. He has some legs underneath him. He can run. So him, Riley, the wide receivers, and the running back group is very, very solid this year. So I'm excited for this season.
The New Hartford Spartans are coming off a 2-6 record under second-year head coach Jim Kramer. The struggle last season revolved around lack of depth and lack of numbers. Kramer says the squad was competitive but just ran out of gas late in games. This year, New Hartford's numbers are up, players are more versatile, and it helps that the Spartans have an all-star coaching staff, including John Hurto, Ted Swavely, and Keith Kempney. The Spartans seem much more prepared entering year number 2 under Coach Kramer.
I think what's important for us is we returned 4 out of 5 linemen that played for us from last year. So working with Coach Swavely and him working with that O-line and develop them and improving even more will be a key for us. I think many opponents know that Blake Hoban was a feature running back for us last year, and he hopes to improve. But we've added other running backs that have developed that I think will be able to play a stable of guys. We'll be a little bit younger at the quarterback position, but that doesn't lack athleticism. I think we got some nice athletes back there. I like the mix of what we have. I think we have a productive tight end that's going to grow into to be a weapon for us. And defensively, we're going to run and hit you.
Our line is working a lot more this year. We got a new coach at the line, and they're really putting in the work this year. And we've run during workouts this year. We've been able to run it a lot more, so that in the beginning of the summer, we already know like what we're doing. So when we start practice, we already have all our plays ready and all that. And since last year, it was his first year, so we didn't have all that ready.
The Oneida Indians come into the year off a disappointing 3-5 season where they missed the playoffs, a rarity for the program. This year they have 9 key returners on the roster, including quarterback Ryan Chevier and running back Luke Albro. Combine that with a handful of young talent coming up with a couple of wide receivers and a running back, and skill isn't something they'll be hurting for. Despite the experience that the Indians do have, they don't have a lot of players in total. Therefore, it's the bond between the players and coaches that will help lift them this year.
Every year's different. These kids are fun to be around. They're a lot of fun to be around, and the coaching staff enjoys being around them. We have a pretty tight group. We don't have a lot of numbers, but we do. We're pretty tight.
It's a good group of people. They're really fun to play with, and I enjoy it. I grew up going to school with all of them, and just a good group of people.
It's a really dedicated group, and
Vernon Verona Sherrill looks to build off a very successful season. The Red Devils finished 6-1 in the regular season before falling to Homer in the Class B semifinals. VVS will rely on senior leadership. Guys like Alex Oliver and Bryce Cousins will lead the way on offense. A little different situation on the other side of the ball. Younger players will need to step up and fill some holes on defense. Head coach Gary Oliver says with a core group of returners, the team chemistry has been great as the seniors look to guide the squad back to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's very important that our seniors step up and be leaders, and because we need some of these younger kids to step up and fill spots, and our seniors will definitely help them along. Being their senior year, they want it to be successful, so they're going to bring the younger kids along to make it successful.
Just keep working hard, Like I said, we have a bunch of seniors. We've all been playing together, so we all know each other real well. We have good team chemistry, so I think we can just take that and move forward with it.
well, we've grown up together since we were little, and it's just so much fun to play with these guys because it's something new every day.
Really focus on the teamwork we had. We had a good bond as a team, so we kind of worked together. We had a decent amount of people, so hopefully the seniors that are coming back, can really help us, and then hopefully get back to the same position we were.
So there are our local teams competing in Class B this season. That should be a very competitive division, so it'll be interesting to see how things shake out.
Definitely. We're now switching from Class B to another highly competitive division. So with that, let's check out what to expect in Class C.
Up in Boonville, the Adirondack Wildcats having a difficult season last year would be an understatement. The team didn't manage a single win, finishing at 0-8 and dead last in the division. This year, they returned their starting running back and a couple more players at the skill positions where they gained a lot of experience last year. They're a young team again here in 2018 with a small senior class, but a lot of juniors ready to fill big roles. With the talent coming up to join a squad that is hungry after a winless season a year ago, the Wildcats are set up for a better outlook.
Yeah, we got some sophomores coming up. Connor Griffith, he's a tough young kid. He's coming up to play for us, and he'll be playing fullback and linebacker for us. And Eric Miller, another kid, he's a sophomore. He's a tough young kid. We got a good junior class coming back. They got a lot of experience last year because they had to fill in. We've had 2 small senior classes, so the underclassmen have really had to play a lot, and they've been getting a lot of playing time. So
we have a lot of sophomores coming up this year that are working with the chemistry from the sophomores last season. So the chemistry, they have to work on that, but we're getting pretty good together.
I think, well, it just makes us all better. Even bringing up throughout school and everything makes us better. Come together as a team, work harder, and we all work as right in unison. I think we're going to do good. We're working hard, putting in our time, and I think we're going to do good.
Over in Clinton, the Warriors had a tough year last year, registering just a single win and going 1-8. It's been a long playoff drought for Clinton, something the team is looking to change this year. On a positive note, they returned starting quarterback Tanner Devins to start his 3rd straight year under center, and big tight end Josh Wilcox also returns to the lineup after missing all of last year with an injury. With a combination of experience, depth, and off-season commitment, the Warriors are ready to bring playoff football back to Clinton.
Oh, it's great because we have sometimes in practice, like one of the younger kids who's new on varsity is doing something wrong, and you have our 6'6" senior walking up to him, and you wait for him to yell at you, but instead he put his arm around them and said, "Listen, your foot was wrong here. You need this." And they're helping him out. They're emotionally helping him out. They're guiding some of these young kids, helping them. Because I keep telling these guys, next year you guys are gone. These are the kids. So next year when they do well, you were there to help them. I mean, we haven't. Clinton's had what, 1 winning season in 20 years. Haven't been in playoffs in like 20 years. And these seniors know they have a chance to go to the playoffs, and you can see the difference in their attitude. They're not just out here to be out here. Before they used to be just out here to have a uniform on. Now they're out here because they want to play. They look like a team. They're acting like a team. For the first time in years, so coaches, we're excited. I think the little kids out here are not the players, it's the coaches this year.
That'll be good because we've all played together since we were all really young, and now we got that core group up here, and I think they'll want one good last run. So
it's been the same core group of kids from freshman, sophomore, junior, and now our senior year. So I feel like we have a bond that a lot of teams don't really have when they're switching out players. We've been here through 2 pretty lackluster seasons, and I feel like now we're ready to kind of kick it out.
Over in Holland Patton, the Golden Knights return a majority of their squad, which means plenty of experience coming back on both sides of the ball, including at the quarterback position, and nearly their entire offensive and defensive lines. Holland Patton knows their 3-5 record from last year doesn't reflect how talented they are, and this team is hungry to prove that, especially in the difficult Class C East. With 20 seniors this year, leadership is something that will be very key for this team. Having strong leaders on the field is something head coach Brian Briggs says will help push them over the top.
The losses we had last year, by a touchdown almost every game, and not much leadership. We only had like 6-7 seniors on the team, and this year is a whole different boat where, coming in with 20 seniors, we have a ton of leadership, a ton of depth. So we're hoping for a much better season.
I mean, last year we never really had anyone step up as a leader, so we've just kind of had a few people this year try to real stress teamwork to the whole team. We were a bunch of individuals last year, so we're trying to work as a team this year. I mean, having 20, 21 seniors is big for a team. We get to coach the younger kids up, and they get to see how it's done, because a bunch of us have been playing on varsity since sophomore, freshman year. So
Our D is real hard, and our offense, we have a lot of depth this year, so we have a lot of kids. So if one kid gets hurt, we got someone right there to back them up. So
I mean, there's no guarantees at this point, obviously, but just by how things have been shaking out, we got a lot of good chemistry and a lot of good young guys, and we've been working together very well. So I mean, anything is possible at this point.
just keep everyone together, definitely, because, you know, you never know what could happen, injuries, otherwise, and if, you know, have a bad game, heads are down, you know, you got to keep everyone up, got to keep everyone positive. So if anything strikes our team, we got to be ready to go, because the season doesn't end, it's week by week, so we can't stop with one bad thing.
Over in Little Falls, the Mounties are coming off a decent season. They finished at 500 at 4-4, good for third place in the league. That earned them a playoff spot where they fell to a very good Skinny Atlas team in the Section 3 quarterfinals. This year, the Mounties have a lot of talented players who are very familiar with the varsity level. It appears as though a key for Little Falls this year will be that experience. The Mounties seem to come up just short each season, which, according to this team, is all the motivation they need to make it farther.
You know, my hope is we've improved each year. We keep getting to the playoffs, and I want them to keep moving forward with the program. And I think they've done a great job of improving each year, and we want to take that next step this year.
Going in this year, we have 11 seniors. Played with all of them for multiple years, plus the underclassmen I've known from other sports and playing younger in football as well. But this year we should be coming out. We should be #1 in the league like usual, hoping to win sectionals. What gets me out here is always coming up short in sectionals every year. Plus, it's my senior year. I want to play in the Dome with a team that I love, playing for the Mounties.
It's a bad taste, yeah, but it makes us want to get better. We got to do a lot better than last year. This year's more important. We got a lot of young guys, and hopefully this year I think we've got what it takes to get far.
The Notre Dame Jugglers are under new management this year. Gennaro Scampone takes over for Jake Dercola, who is now on the sidelines at RFA. The Jugglers are moving down from Class B to Class C this season due to smaller numbers, but expect more of the same success. That's because Notre Dame is a fairly experienced group with key returners including Trajan Garrett at quarterback, Isaiah Zarnecki at running back, Joe Howard on defense, and a couple of talented wide receivers in Patrick Espinoza and Mike Washington. After enjoying another winning season at the Class B level, the numbers aren't something that's worrying this Class C Jugglers squad.
We're going to make it work. It's a challenge, definitely a challenge. But next guy up, you know, we're going to have to take some time out to make sure that guys are developed and the second team is ready to go. So it's a great challenge. You know, if we come into camp one year with 40, we come into camp one year with 20, we're still going to go at it. We won't be a football team if we don't have our ups and downs, and I'm sure we'll get there. But the transition has been good. The family's been welcoming. The guys are really taking to what we're teaching them. So everything's been good. And fortunately, we have a good senior group that are going to lead the way for us.
We have almost half our team seniors been playing with each other since the modified days. So we have great chemistry, great attitude overall. So we're excited. We're going to have a great running game, great passing game, a lot of tall wide receivers, big O linemen. So I expect a lot out of these guys, and they expect the same from me.
Kind of just like last year, we have a lot of speed, and we got really good size, especially for moving down to Class C. So that's probably going to be a good strength of ours. We have even with the small numbers, the guys we do have are big. So it doesn't matter who the opponent is. We got to come out fighting every week. Class B, Class C, it's still football. We got to come out prepared and play our hardest every game.
Over in West Winfield, the Mount Markham Mustangs went 6-2 last year, finishing second in the Class D East behind Dolgeville. They now move into the tough Class C East with the likes of Notre Dame, Holland Patton, and others. Mount Markham is without one of the most athletic backfields in the area. They lost Josh Douglas and Robert Lennon Holmes to graduation. But they have a lot of returning talent on the offensive line and at running back, including Everett Kelly, who missed all of last year with an injury. Also, senior Nick Mondor is ready to slot in for Douglas under center. The family aspect is something that the coaches and players have been pushing all throughout training camp. Between the chemistry and athleticism the team possesses, the Mustangs say they're ready to take the next step.
We have a new crop of really, really talented players. We got a young running back who was hurt as a junior. He didn't get to play any reps. He's coming back to play for us. He's a good athlete. We got a couple new quarterbacks. Got a couple running backs actually. You know, it seems like every year we're blessed and stocked on running backs, and very, very talented. So we're looking forward to trying to get as many touches to as many people as we can.
We had to bounce back from losing two major roles in our backfield. Luckily, we had another person coming back from an injury. That helps a lot. And just being together and knowing what we have to get done throughout each game and throughout each practice is really what it is.
we're definitely a lot closer. One of our strengths this year is definitely going to be the whole family mentality, especially from losing a couple guys last year, but we have also most of our team is returning. So we all played together. We've all got that brother family mentality. We all love each other like brothers.
I don't feel pressure. Josh Douglas he's my man, so he's a super athletic kid, so just trying to, follow what he did. It's going to be a hard task, but I don't really feel pressure. I just going to play, do what I know.
Plenty to look out for in both of those classes. We're halfway through the 2018 high school football preview show, but make no mistake, we're still rolling along.
Yeah, coming up next, we'll map out all of Class D, which looks much smaller this year due to team reclassifications.
Welcome back to the 2018 high school football preview show. We're in the second half now, but still plenty of game left.
Yeah, we now head to another tough division with many local teams in the mix. Let's check out Class D, and for that, we go out to Dallsville. The Blue Devils had about as successful a year as you could hope for last season. They went 10-1, winning the Class D East, and eventually were crowned the Section 3 Class D champions. Dallsville lost a couple of key players from that squad, including Asen Kloss and Chase Dockstader, but they still have a very experienced group coming back. With the loss of their starting quarterback, there's competition to fill that spot. Head coach Daniel Zolkowski talks about who we could see under center for the Blue Devils this season.
I have 3 quarterbacks at this point that are competing for a position. 2 of them are seniors that were wide receivers last year, Zach Smith and Zach Carpenter. They probably will share the role at this point, and we have Austin Guile, who's a younger kid that is also getting some reps. Both kids bring, the seniors bring a different aspect of running, throwing, and managing the offense, but they're pretty exciting to watch, and like I said, they've had a lot of playing experience. They just have to step up to a new role.
They all like to play, and they are all unselfish. We always take it 1 week at a time, and overall, I just love it here at DCS.
Well, I think that over the years, the people you play with, the chemistry just gets stronger, and I think the team gets healthier.
The Frankfort Skyland Maroon Knights had a disappointing year for their standards last year, going 3-5 and finishing in 5th place in the Class D East. They've lost a lot of key players from that squad due to graduation, including Joe Streeter, Jason Yelly, Antonio Aiello, and many others. But they also have a wealth of talent coming back with more experience from last year's squad, such as John Bannis, Michael DeRollo, and Nick Manine, among others. For the Knights, not only are the X's and O's a crucial part of the game, but it's the communication and the chemistry this team possesses that they hope can take them far.
The communication is very important because if you didn't have any communication, then one player can get it wrong, and if one player gets it wrong, then everything can go bad because everybody needs to be on key and everybody needs to be knowing what they're going to be doing in the situation. So we just got to be talking to each other and make sure everything's perfect.
I'm trying to influence my team as much as possible. I'm just trying to get them hyped, get the excitement up, and honestly just go try to win a few football games. What we're basically doing is we're plugging different players in different spots, trying to figure out what works, and then as soon as it works, we're just going from there. We're kind of building upon, like, moving up the ladder and such.
Well, you got to motivate the team. We got to keep everybody together, and we're trying to play out here as a family. Everybody, the chemistry is great, like we said. It's just a great year. Hopefully we have a good one.
I think it's really good. I mean, in the beginning, it's weird losing all those people, and now everyone is just bonding together. It's the second week, and we're all close as a family. I think the strengths of this team is really going to be like the coaches and the players, of how we just interact with each other and how we interact on and off the field, and just how we bond together.
In Herkimer, the Magicians finished the regular season 4-4 and went 1-3 in league play. Head coach Jason Alexander describes this group as cohesive and a nice mix of upperclassmen and younger players. Offensively, the Magicians returned quarterback James Aiello and running back Wyatt Renshaw. On the other side of the ball, Zach Parman is excited to make the switch to defensive end. Led by those seniors, this group feels like they have the recipe for success to take that next step.
I think our expectations are higher for this season. Coming in, we had a decent 4-4 year last year. This team has, like I said, they've worked together all the way up through and had a lot of success together. So they expect for themselves to take the next step, whether that wins, losses, you know, as long as we're approaching the game that we have the mindset that we're going to compete and we're going to play the game to the best of our ability, we know that we can compete and hopefully get into the playoffs and, you know, take the next step.
We're playing Herkimer football this year and last year for sure. Moving up from modified, we already know it plays, but running them for years and definitely helps a lot.
It's really important because the young guys got to like get how the varsity works yet, and they're starting to get it already. Like they're working good. We're gonna look solid. And I'm just gonna push them every week, try to get everyone better, and make everyone like know that they have a role. And if everyone does their role, we'll be a good team, we'll be able to win.
In Sauquoit, the Indians come into this year after a successful first season under head coach Joe Inglis, where the team went 6-2 and made it to the second round of the playoffs. This year, Inglis says the pressure is on to perform even better and take the next step. They lost their entire backfield from last season, but return a ton of starters, including their complete offensive line. One of the keys for the Indians last year was their ability to stay fresh late in games. That's something that Coach Inglis says is vital again if they are to be successful this year. Behind solid senior leadership, the Indians are ready to build off last year's success.
We lost our whole backfield last year, yes, or this year. That's going to be tough to replace, but we've got speed, we've got power. Our entire offensive line's back. That makes life a little easier for the guys running the ball with the experience there. So we're looking for good things. So the young guys all look up to them. It's going to be a little bit of an experience this year with Ryan Howell taking over as quarterback. We should be two-dimensional. We're going to be able to throw the ball quite a bit more. I'm looking for him to step up and do great things.
You got to be humble, definitely, to play, and just show everyone that what you can do and to be the best you can and help everyone around you.
There's a lot of new guys.
A lot of new guys.
That's different than last year because we had a lot of seniors and juniors. We got a lot of teaching to do, but as a captain, you got to do that. So they're listening, and that's good. So you got to make sure you're positive. That way everybody else is a positive around you. You got to be a good leader, and they should follow behind that.
The Westmoreland Bulldogs are coming off a heartbreaking year where they tied for second place in the Class D Central at 2-2 in league play, 4-5 overall, but they missed the playoffs due to a tiebreaker. That was the second straight playoff-less year for Westmo, something the program just isn't used to. This year, the Bulldogs are retooled with a lot of young players eager to get going at the varsity level. With 6 returning starters and 21 total players on the roster, Westmoreland is going into this year looking to surprise a lot of people.
Well, the positive is that we can tell them, and they believe it too, it's kind of us against everybody else. You know, there's only 22 of us, maybe 21, 23, somewhere in there, it depends. You know, there's guys around here that aren't playing football, you know, and so they just have to show their love for the game and want to be coached, and this group seems to have that in them. There's a large group of sophomores on this team, so they're just coming up from last year's modified team, and it seems like they have real good team chemistry. They're a fun group. They like to laugh a lot, but they like to work hard when they're needed to.
Well, they're all fast learners. They pick up things quickly, you know. So we've been getting a lot of reps. So you know, it's good to get all those reps. I don't know. We gotta work a lot harder than other teams because we have such small numbers. So we just gotta keep working and don't stop the grind.
Smaller group means more of a brotherhood. We always have each other's backs. We all have to know what the next guy's doing, always have his back. We have to always be paying attention, always know what's going on.
The Waterville Indians are feeling optimistic this season with new leadership. Mike Batson takes over the reins as head coach, and for the players, they're happy to see a familiar face. Batson was promoted from modified. Waterville finished the season 2-6 overall and 2-3 in league play last year. The Indians return a solid senior group, including tailback Ryan Hunt and quarterback Derek Buell. The upperclassmen are looking to go out with a bang and leave their mark on Waterville football.
Both captains of the team, one's a tailback and one's a quarterback. We got a bunch of names. It's Ryan Hunt, both the Hunt brothers, Ryan and Sean Hunt, and Derek Buell, and there's a whole cast of them. We got like 8 or 9 seniors that are going to contribute quite a bit this year.
Well, I don't really know if I give them advice. I give them someone to look off of. So if like I'm doing something, I just have them more just pay attention.
You know, you want to leave, when you leave here, you want to have an impression. You want to have something that next year someone at camp is going to be like, oh, I remember someone said something about doing this instead of this. You know, you want to try to help and create better teammates, like better teammates for yourself this year and better teammates for the future of the program. And, you know, I have a little brother on the team, so it's always important for me to try to further other players' experience as well as his, to try to have the best season for him next year possible. And I'm sure he'll want to do the same thing with his friends in the lower grades, and it'll continue for him now until forever.
We're coming down to the final part of our 2018 high school football preview show.
We'll take a look at 3 local teams who are set to play another season of 8-man football and 2 others who are set to join them.
Welcome back to the 2018 high school football preview show. We're now in the final stanza of the show with time ticking down on the clock.
8-man football made its return to Central New York after 3 decades away last year to help support teams with smaller numbers. In its first season back, we had 3 local teams compete. This year, that number has been expanded to 5.
Cooperstown went 2-4 in their first year playing 8-man. The Hawkeyes are looking forward to some new competition this season as programs like West Canada Valley and Oriskany join 8-man football. Cooperstown lost Owen Kennedy, a 6'6" tight end, but his brother, who's also a big fella, will look to fill those shoes. The Hawkeyes also have fresh faces in the backfield, including Logan Cantor, who will lead this team as the first junior to be named captain under head coach Joe Pester's tenure. Cooperstown's goal this year is simple: work and play hard, do your best, and have fun.
It's still football. I mean, it's tackling, you know, blocking. It's still the same. I think you need a little more speed at this game, and I think that's coming. I think we do have speed this year, so I think it's going to help us. Just be aggressive. I think they were aggressive last year. I think but they were young, so they know the word aggressive, but they don't know how to do it all the time. And I think this year they will, because my line last year was 2 freshmen and a sophomore. So now they're a little older, so hopefully they're going to be a little more aggressive on the line.
It's really puts a lot of pride in my heart because he chose me to be the first junior captain. It's a little nerve-wracking, you know. It's like I got to prove something, but once I get out there with all these guys, it won't matter. It means everything to me. I grew up in this town, you know, wearing that jersey, this helmet. It means everything to me. I've done football since I was, you know, little kid, being, you know, 6 years old, and it means everything.
Morrisville-Eaton, the Warriors. They were one of 6 teams to make the transition into 8-man football this year after going 1-7 in Class D last year. The change wasn't due to record, but rather numbers, as the roster isn't a very long list of players. They do have a couple key players returning, including quarterback Andrew Parkhurst and tailback Nick Fox. The Warriors are a young team with only 1 senior on the squad. With the youth and relative inexperience they have at the varsity level, new head coach Don Johnson has tweaked things to match their personnel a little better.
I've changed the offense this year, not based on what we had done in the past, but on who we have to fill those positions. You know, we're gonna try to do more power football. We have some big kids. We're not necessarily fast, but we have some big kids, and we're going to go back to power football.
We're always hanging out, all of us, mostly as a big group. We went to a camp last year that got us pretty close, and I mean, it's a small school, so we're always interacting. I think it helps with like how we work with each other, because it's just handoffs, passes, we all just kind of connect.
Going down to 8-man, yeah, it kind of
it's on the downside, but hey, we have football here and it's here to stay, and hopefully we can put Morrisville football back on the map. Yeah, I was going to run cross country for the Waterville team, and then they said that they needed players, so I decided why not support the home team and come out here and give it all I got.
In New York Mills, the Marauders had a spectacular season last year, going 5-2, good for second place in the league, and they made it all the way to the league championship at the Carrier Dome, where they fell to Bishop Grimes. With more teams moving down to 8-man this year, the Marauders say they are better prepared for this season, and they also say they're even more hungry due to last year's championship loss. This year, Mills returns 10 players from last year's roster, giving them a lot of experience, especially with a year of 8-man now under their belt.
I think it is, especially in the key positions. So what they're going to do, we count on them to show leadership to the younger guys, continue to teach them. That's how we do things around here. And with their experience, they can help these younger guys along and tell them what it's going to take to get back to the Carrier Dome. I think always we play well defensively. We tackle really well. We have a nice system where we tackle. And our offense, we're going to continue to spread the field and try multiple things.
Oh, definitely blocking and running, one of the strong points. And we have only a few kids. Well, yeah, we took a couple kids back, so we got some more experience than we did last year.
I think now that we have more experience in the league, it's going to make it much easier for us to go out there and compete. Probably our defense. We had solid defense last year, and hoping we can bring that back this year.
The Oriskany Redskins is another team that's used to the 8-man game, being a part of the original 6 last year with Cooperstown and New York Mills. This year they did lose some key players, but have 12 returners, including 6 starters and 5 seniors coming back. Between that and playing 8-man last year, they're plenty experienced coming into this season. Oriskany is hoping that the senior leadership and them playing in this division last year can help them start off with a bang this year.
You know, we're hoping that that transfers, whether it was someone who started, got some playing time, or someone that was looking for playing time this year. I think that's really going to be valuable, especially with some of the young guys coming up. And we're looking for those guys to step up, to take the reins, to lead by example, have good techniques, and I think those are things that will carry over to game day.
We had a lot of team speed, so that's a big plus. We haven't had that in the past. And obviously, we still have decent size. Our quarterbacks grew a couple inches. He gained a couple pounds, so that's going to be a plus for us. We got some young players, so they're energetic. We have optimism going into this year.
I think we're really quick, and offensively we should be pretty good. We're going to be able to move the ball well, and we have most of our starting group coming back for both offense and defense, so we should be able to work pretty well. Well, we've been working all summer with most of the people on the team, and even those people that haven't been here, they've been working on their own. So them coming in ready to play is really helping everything mesh together.
Over in Newport, West Canada Valley finished 5-3 last season in the Class D East, but just missed the playoffs. And with lower numbers this year, Todd Hoban and the Indians weren't even sure if they'd have a team this fall. But thankfully, Section 3 approved their move down to 8-man football. While the Indians lost a couple key seniors, including quarterback Matt Tobin and tight end Mason Schloop, guys like Ronald Stewart and Zach Jones are eager to step in and lead this squad. Coach Hoban understands there will be a learning curve as this team transitions to 8-man, but says they're all up for the challenge.
I think we're starting from scratch because we're playing 8-man, which is something new for me. I mean, I'm rewriting a playbook, trying to figure out how we do this. I mean, we have a learning curve to overcome with other teams that have done it, but you know, it's a challenge, and we're still trying to figure out who's going to fit where and how they fit with all this. So, you know, football's a game, is a puzzle, and you just got your pieces. Now you're trying to figure out how they fit in. All the new teams, we put them into one league. So we really have APW, Tupper Lake, Weedsport. Those are the new schools, and so I don't know much about those schools, to be honest with you. So each week it'll be a challenge, but that's high school football. Every week you never know what you're going to see, and you just study film and you're preparing. You get your kids ready to play.
Definitely the offense. I feel like the offense will really get rolling. We've got a lot of key players on the offense to be able to get us to hopefully score a lot, so that should be good.
The offense. I think with the 8-man, it opens up the field a lot more. Defensively, it'll make it a lot harder, though, to close out and make more tackles outside. Scrimmages will mean a lot just to show us how, like, the speed of the game will be different. Most other states, like, shorten the field, and New York State doesn't do that. So it'll give us a good feel of how fast the game will move.
there you have it. 25 teams, all with a clean slate and ready to get things going as they vie for spots at the Carrier Dome by the end of the year. A very exciting season ahead as we now get down to the end of our 2018 high school football preview show.
Opening night for the high school football season for many teams is tomorrow, and with that, it means the return of Sports Express. So let's take a look at some of what we have coming up on the season premiere.
A big one between the defending Section 3 Class D champion Dolgeville and league rival Frankfort Schuyler in Frankfort.
Then we go to Class C, matchup in West Winfield between two locals, Adirondack and Mount Markham under the lights.
At RFA Stadium, the Black Knights open up the season at home against Nottingham.
And last but not least, here the defending Class A section champs Whitesboro Warriors will take on Auburn at Chiz Fry Field. All games slated to begin at 7 o'clock.
Another exciting season of high school football right around the corner. Love it. That'll do it for the 2018 high school football preview show. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night for the season premiere of Sports Express.